Okay, hey guys, we're back again with another episode of Flawless Finance going live with the CEO, episode 16. Can't believe we've got 16, you know, episodes or 16 streams in. You know the role, guys. We talk about a wide range of topics, starting off with anything from sports, basketball, football, politics, economics, business. Typically, it's been a lot of sports heavy stuff, but we love sports over here, so hey, what can I say? But we're going to kick it off with a three-team Julius Randle trade that would get New York Knicks to buy it. Okay. Well, let's look at the full trade scenario here. I really want to focus on what the Knicks get in this situation because, understandably, Julius Randle is a big piece of their offense. He's probably their second option. You know, without having the numbers in front of me, a comfortable 17, 18, 19 points per game scorer. He's not incredibly efficient, and he had a bad season a few seasons ago. Can't really knock down the three, but a big physical presence and can score it nicely on the inside. So the Knicks, and he's on a big contract, so the Knicks aren't going to give Julius Randle up for nothing. They're going to need to get some pieces in return. And we're looking at the Knicks getting Grant Williams and Nick Richards from the Hornets back. Now, of course, Grant Williams isn't a like-for-like replacement for Randle. He's a player. He's a player who can play that 3-4 position, similar to Randle. Decent on the ball, can score the ball a bit. I think, obviously, if Grant Williams was to go to the Hornets, he'd probably not go to the Hornets, go to the Knicks. He would probably experience a bit more of the ball, because the Knicks, they're a better team than the Hornets, that's for sure. And if he's going to be a like-for-like replacement for Randle, he'll probably be looked to as the, sort of, maybe not the second option. I don't think he's good enough to be a second option, but a comfortable, a nice third option on offense. So I think we'd see, where you've got Randle averaging 17, 18, 19 points per game. Grant Williams, I don't think he'd do that on the Knicks. I think we'd be looking more at anywhere between 12 to 15. Even 15, I think, is a bit high, but Grant Williams is a more than capable player, and I think if you're going in that direction, it's good that you're moving on from Julius Randle because that's a different sort of player, different sort of direction you're going in. In terms of the Hornets, they're getting Julius Randle, Jericho Sims, and Jericho Sims is a player I really like. Underrated, I think. Big physical presence. There's a lot of that. There's a bit of that in the league. There's not enough of it, but it's a three-point shooting league, and he can't really knock down threes. But that being said, he's still got that big physical presence, and I'm sure I remember in his rookie season he got like a big post to dunk. So he's got that in his bag. Corey Kispert, one of these young players that from the draft that are supposed to be, really be able to knock down the three ball. So if he goes to the Hornets, he could be a nice fit alongside LaMelo when LaMelo's got a lot of gravity, and if LaMelo's getting hot and he's drawing that double team and Corey's wide open, he can knock down that three. Marvin Bagley from the Wizards as well, MB3. Another a big player who can stretch the floor as well, can knock down threes. To be fair, Marvin Bagley would be a nice fit for New York if you're getting rid of Randle, to be fair. But hey ho, looks like in this trade scenario, the Hornets are going to get MB3, and the Wizards will get Josh Green, Cody Martin, and then 2 first-round picks. I mean, you're getting Josh Green and Cody Martin. They're not going to be major players for you. Cody Martin will probably get a bit more time, but these players are basically going to be. I mean, depending on how the Wizards are looking like. I mean, the Wizards are quite a bad team. These guys might get some clock, but they're not really needle movers. They're not going to do anything crazy for you. I mean, you're not going to get the playoffs with them, having major roles, so don't even to worry about that. But those 2 first-round picks, even though they're protected, could potentially have some value, particularly where you've got the Wizards get their pick back from the Knicks and the Detroit Pistons pick, which will probably be quite valuable as well because the Pistons are bad. So really interesting. So the Knicks will lose Julius Randle, but they'll get Grant Williams and some trade exceptions, Nick Richards as well. Who do you think out of these 3 teams, where you've got the Knicks getting Grant Williams and Nick Richards, the Hornets get Julius Randle, Jericho Sims, Corey Kispert, and Marvin Bagley III, and the Wizards get Josh Green, Cody Martin, and two 2025 protected first round picks. Who do you think really wins this trade? I'm, to be honest, I almost think the Hornets might win this trade because they've got, you know, two really good players in Randall and Bagley that are going to be useful for them. Corey Kispert's going to be useful. Jericho Sims, whether you trade him or what you do with him, I don't know. Because Marvin Bagley the third and Jericho Sims, they're both centres, and out of the two, I'm definitely picking Marvin Bagley. But without seeing that contract in front of me, I'm not sure what Marvin Bagley's contract even looks like. Is it a contract where he's only got 1 year left? Is it a big contract? Is it a small contract? I don't really know. But I'm inclined to say really the Hornets are getting the best out of this, to be honest. But I'd be super curious to know what you guys think of this potential trade scenario, and who do you think wins this trade scenario? The Knicks, the Hornets, or the Wizards? Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's open up that. Bear with me a sec. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, so we've got Kobe versus Jordan debated by Dwight Howard and Gilbert Arenas. So Dwight Howard was sort of defending Kobe Bryant and saying he thinks Kobe's better than MJ, and Gilbert Arenas seems to disagree. I've got to agree with Gilbert in this one. No chill, Gil. I think he's actually got a valid take in this case. I really don't think you could say Kobe's better than MJ. In terms of anything, to be honest, MJ was probably more skilled, a far better athlete. You know, Dwight Howard says he thinks Kobe was better than MJ skill-wise, and he took everything Jordan did and multiplied it. He did it better. I really have to disagree. I really have to disagree with this one because looking at a lot of Kobe's play, it would be, you know, pump fakes, spin moves. You know, he's doing that because he's got himself in a position where he's heavily smothered, the defence is all over him, and he needs to do something tricky to get even a halfway open look. To be honest, he would hardly have open looks. He was just really good. Kobe was just amazing at being clutch and amazing at making bad shots. Shots that most players wouldn't even take because they're absolutely smothered. Kobe would take those shots and make it. MJ was a player who was incredibly smart, similar to Kobe, but was able to, you know, he was bouncy, he was fast, not just bouncy and fast, he was the bounciest, the fastest in an era, filled with a lot of dominant presence, defensively particularly. Kobe wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the most athletic, he wasn't the strongest. He did have that Mamba mentality, but that to me doesn't make you better than MJ. You know? And Anthony Edwards obviously previously made that comment that I made a video about a while ago where he's saying nobody really had skill back in the day. And to be honest, I watched some of those games from back in the 90s, and these were obviously random games that I picked, comparing it to nowadays basketball. And I completely understand what Anthony Edwards is saying because nobody really had a bag back then. Like, the closest thing to a bag you had would be, you know, someone like Hakeem with a, you know, nice post game. Jordan could face guys up, but Jordan would be fading away. That's the closest thing you really had to a bag. A lot of it was just, you know, moving the ball around, passing. And, I mean, that's definitely a skill, and that's definitely technique, and that's definitely team play. But you take an average player from the 2020s and put them in the 1990s, and they're a superstar. I don't care what these guys say when they say, oh, this era's soft. These guys are 1,000,000% more talented than the average player in the 90s. You put someone who's probably not even in the league anymore, you put someone like Ben McLemore in the 90s, and he's capable of probably giving you a nice 15 to 20 a night. And in the league when he was in it, he's probably given, I don't know what his averages were, 6-7 points. You put him in the 90s, he's doubling that. Just because of the gap in skill. You know, he's got a guy who's a 3-level scorer in an era where there wasn't really any 3-level scorers. And if they were, like I'm saying, like, I'm comparing it to today's game to back then. If you were a 3-level scorer back then, you would come into league today and you'd be a bum. You know, so there is still levels to this. Of course, we know that Kobe famously idealized Jordan. You know, we know this. Took a lot of his moves, but Jordan, if you're talking about a prime Michael Jordan, no one, in terms of Kobe, can't touch a prime Michael Jordan. If you're talking about a Jordan later on in his career, where he's relying a bit more on footwork and fadeaways and mid-range, then okay, then there's a conversation to be had. But if you're comparing prime Michael Jordan to prime Kobe, Michael Jordan blows him out of the water. Because like I said, Michael Jordan was the fastest, the bounciest. He was jumping from the free throw line and dunking. I don't think guys quite understand how crazy that is. You know, now, of course, Bryant has got a crazy resume. You know, 5 championships, 2 NBA Finals MVPs, a league MVP, should probably have more than 1 MVP, but 2 scoring titles, 15 All-NBA selections, and 12 All-Defensive selections, and 18 All-Star games. You know, Kobe's no one to be scoffed at. You know, but in terms of him being better than MJ, I'm not sure about that one, man. I'm not sure. I think I'm gonna have to give the nod to to MJ for sure. I'd be super interested to know what you guys think, though. Do you think Jordan's better than Kobe, or do you think Kobe's better than MJ? Be super curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Bear with me a sec, guys. Next, we're going to be looking at potential boxing opponents for Conor McGregor. Now, Conor McGregor hasn't fought in a while, but he's still Conor McGregor. One of the biggest names in combat sports, you know, a 2-time UFC champion, you know, won championships at featherweight and lightweight, and even fought at welterweight. You know, there's potential huge boxing opponents for Conor McGregor if he wants to go back into boxing and get a huge payday like he did for the Floyd fight. Be huge money to be made, and we're going to look at some potential opponents for him. So, first off, the first potential opponent for Conor could be Floyd Mayweather Jr. Now, the 7th anniversary from them first fighting has come and gone, which means we've kind of got the itch to see it again. McGregor and his sort of villainous boxing contemporary Floyd Mayweather Jr. locked horns in August 2017. And Conor made a cool $30 million for 9 rounds work. While apparently Floyd made $100 million and leveled up to a 15-0, Floyd's now 47 years old, and he spent recent years, you know, feathering his financial nest with exhibition matches, including an 8-rounder with the grandson of crime boss John Gotti, which happened last weekend, which reportedly has added another 8 figures to his bottom line. McGregor, meanwhile, hasn't been seen outside of a UFC octagon in more than 3... McGregor hasn't been seen inside of an octagon in more than 3 years. And he still carries the torch for another go-around with Mayweather, whom he suggested has so far renegade on a MMA return bout, promised in the aftermath of his first one in the ring. Conor said he would go against Floyd in another boxing match. He'd love to take a crack at it. Floyd also went on to say, "I can always say it is another boxing fight, and then just bend the rules just a little bit when we're in there, maybe." Wow. I mean, would you want to see Floyd versus Conor again? The rematch? Obviously, Conor hasn't been particularly active, and Floyd's 47. It would make for probably a bit more of an interesting fight. I mean, overall, I'd probably still think Floyd would beat him, but there's new things to consider now. You know, Floyd's 47. Boxing's a young man's sport. Not that Connor's still young. Connor's in his 30s, but hey, man, Connor's been inactive for a while. Be super interested to see. Be super interested to know what you guys think. Would you want to see Floyd versus Connor again? Let me know in the comments below. And next for Connor could be a fight against KSI. And to be honest, we would have to hope it doesn't come to this. Ultimately, it would be reasonable that McGregor wouldn't choose to come back in the ring with a world-class contender But KSI, come on, to put it nicely, he's a bit of a low-rent Jake Paul. He's got a huge social media following, and he's had a 5-fight career, and he was close with Logan Paul, and he lost to Tyson Fury's brother Tommy. McGregor and KSI they've really been going at each other the past year or so, and they're two huge social media influences. I don't know. This fight could happen. Could be a huge payday, but I'm not sure. Would you guys be interested in seeing KSI versus Connor? Let me know in the comments below. Alright, that's it for me, guys. I'm out. Peace.